Very good morning to you all. Um Welcome to ISOEH channel. Today we're going to show that how you can create your own ethical hacking tools using Python. Okay, so let's start. So today's topic is creating hacking tools using Python. So my name is Somdeb Chakraborty and let's start. Okay, before creating hacking tools, we must know what is ethical hacking, because hacking term is something that in our society actually nowadays, if you hear that term hacking, everybody is thinking about someone who loves to crack passwords and get into database, steal anything, because this is the digital world we are living in. Okay, so this term hacking is right now is very familiar, but ethical hacking is actually very different from cracking. So what is ethical hacking? So ethical hacking and ethical hacker are terms used to describe hacking performed by a company or individual to help identify potential threats on a computer or networks. So basically what ethical hacker does, um, an ethical hacker finds the vulnerabilities in a network or in a website or in a computer and try to secure them from black hat hackers. Okay, an ethical hacker attempts to bypass system security and search for any weak points that could be exploited by malicious hackers. This information is then used by the organization to improve the system security to minimize or eliminate any potential attacks. So this is ethical hacking. We try to save data from the malicious hackers. Okay, so now tools used in ethical hacking. So basically there are lots of tools, lots and lots of tools actually. Okay, so the most important tool that an ethical hacker will use to exploit a system, ethical or malicious, anybody, that will be Kali Linux OS. So this is a Linux based operating system, Kali Linux OS, and it is you know uh, it has consisted with too many hacking tools and security tools. Okay, so which can be exploited, which can be used to exploit a system or a network, or find vulnerabilities in a network or a computer. So the second one is Nmap. So what is Nmap? So Nmap is a tool by using which a hacker or an ethical hacker can, you know, try to find the open ports, the services running on the network and everything. Okay, this is one of the most important tools in ethical hacking. Actually, I have mentioned the most important tools here. There are lots of other tools which hackers are using right now. So then there is Nessus. Nessus is for vulnerability assessment. Okay, this is a web tool. Then comes Hydra. Hydra is a password brute forcer. Okay, it forcefully creating the password and brute force a password. Then comes Burpsuit. Burpsuit is a web application attack tool. Okay, and then comes SQL map to hack into databases. So these are the basic tools which we use, to secure or find vulnerability on a system. But the thing is, these tools are created by several companies, several other hackers. So already these tools are there, so why do we need to create our own tools? Because using someone else's tools is like, you can use obviously these tools are much appreciated and very good, but you need to start creating your own tools, because this that's what hackers does. Okay, to be secure, to be one step ahead of other hackers, you need to create your own tools. Just like nmap, today we'll try to create a tool like nmap or a tool like hydra. Okay, so let's start with that. So before creating tools, suppose like nmap, we need to understand sockets. So what is socket programming? So first of all, we need to understand that in a network, um, in our system, there are lots of ports. Total 65,535 ports are there. These ports are like the gateways. Every port is running a services. Not 65,000. Not every ports are used, but there are several ports which are preoccupied by some services. Just like the HTTP service running on the internet right now is running on port 80. Okay, and then there comes FTP service, telnet service, UDP. There are lots of services are there. SSL, SSH. Okay, 443 port number 443 is using SSH. So there are lots of services binding with lots of ports. So let's just see an nmap trial, so you'll understand what a port scanner does, what is a socket programming does. Okay, so let's say sudo nmap, so it will find open ports in the network and the versions running on those ports. So I am going to scan my own network here. It's going to take several minutes. So nmap basically stands for network mapping. Okay, and that -sb is called version scan. Okay, okay, it's going to take a few minutes. Okay, 87.50% done. So nmap, earlier I told that nmap is one of the most useful tools in ethical hacking, because ethical hacking basically has 5 phases, and the first phase is information gathering. Okay, so in order to gather information, you need to scan the target network and find which services are running, if so that we can find if there are any services which is vulnerable, and from where malicious hackers can enter into your network or system. So, and the services are running into open ports. So let's see which ports are open in my network. Okay, it's just like that, 87.50%. Let's see. Okay, the scan is done. So as we can see, this is the report. So port number 80, TCP port, HTTP service is running. the version is this: 443 SSL HTTPS, 631 IPP, 902 SSL VMware authentication daemon, 4444 WebSocket, 5432 PostgreSQL, that's the server, 7070 SSL real server, and 9050 that Tor-SOX proxy. So there are several ports are open in my network right now. So in any case, if this version, okay, so these services are running over here, and these are the version of the services. So what you need to do, you need to find if this version is vulnerable or not. So this is the first phase, which is information gathering. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to create our own nmap to see which ports are open or not. Okay. So socket programming is a way of connecting two nodes on a network to communicate with each other. One socket node listens on a particular port at an IP, while other socket reaches out to the other to form a connection. Server forms the listen socket while client reaches out to the server socket. So what is happening here, that we are going to create a server socket, and there comes then client socket. So we are going to connect those both, and we'll try to create a three-way handshake over there, and when the connection establishes, we can see which ports are open and not. Okay, so how does this socket programming work? So this is the structure of server and client. Okay, let's see. Structure for socket programming. So we can see in the server first, we'll create a socket, we'll bind the socket with IPs and all, and then we listen, and we are ready to accept as a server. And there comes client now. There will be we'll create a socket over here, then we'll connect. So establishing connection through a handshake. So as I told you that we need to establish a three-way handshake between server and client, because this is what happens. Suppose you are pinging google.com, you are trying to connect with google.com, you go to your browser and type google.com. So what happens there? You are the client and google.com is the server, always ready to listen and accept. Okay, so we'll start the internet and we'll type google.com and try to connect over here. So once the server accept that the three-way handshake establishes, then it will receive, send, receive, send. So this will go into loop, and finally the client, us, we are going to close the connection. Server is not going to close the connection. We're going to close the connection, and server will receive this, and after receiving the client sending close message, then it will close. So this is what happening when we're trying to connect google.com or any other website. Okay, so this is the basic structure over here. So what is the main point of this? So server will always ready with socket and binding with IP, and they start to listen and ready to accept always. And client create the socket, connect to the server. It will, because it is a server was ready to accept, it will receive the connection, then it will send, receive, and the server will also send the data to client. Suppose Google web page, it will come to us, and then we'll click another link, and we are going to send another request to server. It will receive, and then again it will send or receive. Okay, so this is like a loop. It will happening until the client or us will break the chain. Okay, we'll close the connection, and it will receive the request of closing the connection, and it will close. So this is the basic structure here. Okay, so now, so today we are going to cover lots of practicals. So let's start without any further delay. So now we're going to creating a port scanner using Python socket programming. So let's get to practical. So a port scanner. So we're going to see if there is any port which is open. Okay, so we already know that these are the ports open in my network right now. So I'm going to scan my network again. We're going to scan the same thing using Python code. Okay, so let's get to Sublime Text over here. Okay, so at first we need to select Python over here. Okay, so now to create any socket program or port scanner, okay, we need to import a module, a predefined module which is already in Python called socket. So we need to import socket over here. Okay, now obviously we need an IP because when we used Nmap, we have given them the IP, which is the local address. So we need to give them the IP. So we are taking user input over here, and we need to start scanning limited ports, or we can scan all the ports available in the network. Okay, so just it depends upon the user because we are creating a tool. Okay, so it can be used by anyone. So we're taking a user input. Suppose enter the start port, and then we need to enter the end port. So user can define how many ports he or she wants to scan. Okay, so we have taken all the inputs we need. Now we need to create the socket program. So define, let's take a function over here. Suppose define scan, and we need port. Okay, so in the try block, so this is the try except block I am taking because this is a program, this is a network program, and error can come up anytime. So it is better you put this program into try and except mode. Okay, so now as we see earlier in the structure that we need to create a socket, then bind and listen and accept everything. So we are going to create the socket first. So s equals to socket. So s is a variable over here. Okay, so s is the variable over here, and we are taking input from socket dot, which is the package, and we are calling a function from this package which is also called socket. So socket dot socket. So the first socket is this module name, and this is the function name which is in this socket module. Okay, now we need to connect s dot connect. So okay, so now we need to connect what as you can see, we need to bind. Okay, so earlier I mentioned that bind per, but what is binding? What are what are we going to bind here? Okay, so we're going to bind the IP and the port number together. Okay, so we'll bind over here IP and port. So it will take input from this IP and port will come from this part. Okay, and we are going to close the connection. S dot close. Done. And if it will work, then it will return true. So if it does work, it will return true value. Okay, and if there are any errors or exceptions over here, I don't know what it will be, but if there is any exception, then it will return false. Simple as that. So now we have created the socket and we have already binded the IP and port over here. Now what do you need? Now we have entered that start port and end port, so there are lots of ports we need to check, right? So we need a for loop to check all of them, right? So let's say for I in range, so I'm starting a for loop over here. Okay, x comma y, so it will start from x and it will end in y. Okay, so the range is from start port to end port. Okay, great. Now if suppose scan I, so now I has all the port numbers. Okay, it will start with x and it will increase with the loop. Okay, in every iteration it will, the value of I will increase and it will increase up to y. Okay, so now we are going to scan I. So if scanning I is possible, then this scan I is this function. We are calling this function over here, that scan and port. So port number is in I right now, so and it will call these things. So if scan I means if this function runs, return true or false, it can. If it does return true, then if scan I print open port number. Suppose open port number is, just you can type anything over here. Let's say percentage %s. Percentage I, so it will print this. Okay, and if it return false, else obviously there will be an else statement, so just pass. Okay, so the program is over here, right? So we have imported a socket module and we took user input for the IP, for the start port and the end port. Then we created a function which is scan function, and the argument we passed is port, and in try block we have written that s equals to socket dot socket. So we have created the socket, we have connected the socket and binded the socket with IP and port, and s dot close, we have closed the socket, and it will return true if it does if it opens. Okay, so and if there are any exception, it will return false. Then we have taken a for loop where I in range, the start port and end port. So I has the port number now. Now we are calling that scan function over here, scan I, that I is the value of this argument port, and if it does return true, print open, port number is this, else just pass. Okay, otherwise we will get all the 65,585 port details written close 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 close, because you can see there just only I think 1 2 3 4 5 6 like 8 or 9 ports are open over here, and there will be 65,526 ports will be shown closed. Okay, so we cannot just scroll back to back all the 65,000 details. Okay, so just in else part just pass. Okay, so hopefully it will work. Let's see. So I'm going to save this program in desktop. Let's say name it like port scanner .py. Okay, so I'm saving it over here, so it is now here, port scanner .py. Now let's see, port scanner .py. Okay, sorry, Python. Oh, it is in cd desktop. Now Python port scanner .py. So I think it will run. So enter the IP. So I'm going to type the same IP over here, 127.0.0.1. So the start port will be 1 and the end port will be suppose 10,000. I think the last port was 9050, so let's say 10,000. So you can see so now let's match the ports. Port 80, port 80, port 443, port 631, 902, 444, 5432. Now here you can see there are another port 6341, 6342, 8307 was not there, 7070 was there, 5432 was there, and 9050 was there. So there are 3 or 5 extra ports are there, but why didn't Nmap catch those ports? But my program caught those, because I think in all these ports over here which Nmap scans, we can see that in every port there are some services are running, but I think these are the ports where no services are running, they are just open. So this is the vulnerability, because without any services are running, these ports are open. So if you find something like this in a network, you need to inform those company, and they should close this. Okay, because we don't need unnecessary ports without any service. Okay, so this is how you can create a scanner like Nmap. So this is the code over here. Okay, a simple one but an effective one, right? Okay, so as you can see, also you can see that it does work better than Nmap, because it has found some 3 or 4 extra ports over here. So it is always better to create your own tools and start hacking with them. Okay, because all the ports I have mentioned like Nmap, Nessus and everything, these are all these are softwares. Okay, so anybody can create that. If you understand the programming very well, then you can also create your own Nmap, own website and everything. Okay, so okay, so hopefully you liked it, and let's see what is next. So this is the socket programming I've done now. Okay, so this is just this was just a port scanner. Now we are going to see how to do brute force. So what is brute forcing? I mentioned earlier with Hydra that the Hydra is a brute force tool. So a brute force attack, also known as an exhaustive search, is a cryptographic hack that relies on guessing possible combinations of a targeted password until the correct password is discovered. The longer the password, the more combinations that will need to be tested. A brute force attack can be time consuming, difficult to perform if methods such as data obfuscation are used, and at times downright possible. However, if the password is weak, it could merely take seconds with hardly any effort. Weak passwords are like shooting fish in a barrel for attackers, which is why all organizations should enforce a strong password policy across all users and systems. So you have heard about it, that we need to set password whenever we are setting a password. You need to maybe the Gmail also following this policy, and every other websites, that you need to enter an uppercase, a lowercase, at least one uppercase, one lowercase, one number and one symbol, special character, right? So what is brute force? It will create a word list of every possible combination. It will combination in the with the combination of every possible words, numbers, special characters, uppercase, lowercase. It will create a password list, and it will start pushing the passwords one by one. So obviously the more complex password you have, the more time it will take to the brute force will take to break that password. Okay, so but if you use a smaller or a simple password, brute force with brute forcing we can easily crack that. Okay, so now just I'm with a program, I'm going to show you how brute forcing works. Okay, so there are lots of brute forcing tools in Kali also, that or in Windows, that aircrackng we use in Wi-Fi hacking, John the Ripper there we use in any password cracking, Lopcrack is there, Windows password cracking, Rainbow Crack, Hydra, Bob Suit. So there are lots of password cracking tools are there. So we can create our own password cracking tool with the same algorithm they created. Okay, so creating a simple brute forcer right now. So I'm going to show you how to create how does brute forcing works. Okay, just to show you. So let's get to it quickly. Okay, it is done already. New file. Let's select Python over here, and okay, so we're going to import random from random import start. All the things in random we are going to import. Now we need a guess, suppose and we need a password which we'll try to break. So input password. Okay, so every time we want to create a word list, we need to set up some words, that these are the alphabets or letters or numbers or special characters. We need the combination of these things. Okay, so we are going to create a small and quickly so let's start. Suppose the letters are suppose 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 let's take up to 9. Okay, just let's take up to 9. Okay, so now we need a while loop, because we are going to repeat the same process again and again. We need to check each and every password we created with the password which we set already. So while guess is not equals to password, so the loop will run until our guess is not equals to password. Okay, whenever it will match, it will just break the loop. Okay, guess equals to, so let's keep it blank again, and for letter, another variable I'm taking letter in password, suppose let's say guess letter equals to letters, the variable we have taken already here, letters, and so this is random, means random integer it will generate, so we can get it from this random part. Okay, so randint. So how many numbers are there? Total 9 numbers are there, so we can safely write 0 to 8, total 9, right? So now guess equals to str guess letter, so we need to print, na? That is why this we're going to concatenate these things, and str guess and done. So if it does happen, then print guess print, so whenever it will find the password, it will say print guessed, anything you can type over here, password guessed, and I think everything is done over here. Just take the input, and I don't think, okay, so this is to just to understand you how does brute force works. Okay, so let's see, save it very quickly, and in desktop let's say brute.py. okay, let's just save it. So this is over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to python3 brute.py. so it is asking for password. Suppose I have set in password 1234, suppose, okay, little 4312. okay, now so it has find that 4312. So what does brute force do? You can see that there are lots of combination he tried before hitting the right password, lots of combinations, random integer combinations. Okay, and finally he hits the target. Okay, so this is how brute force work. It will try each and every possible combination every time the loop iterates, and finally this number hits. Okay, so this is how brute force works. So now quickly what we're going to do, so we have created the now we know how brute force works. So now we are going to create a MD5 hash cracker with using brute forcing. Okay, so let's see. So this is going to be a bit long. Okay, so I'm just deleting this. This was just an example. Okay, so now to decrypt an MD5 hash, because that is the part of cryptography. Okay, so everything on the internet, the each and every password or message or text, it will not be in the text form. Okay, if you intercept the messages, it will be in encrypted form. Okay, so what hackers need to decrypt those messages. Okay, so they need to create their own decrypting tool. So that's why I'm going to that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to create my own decrypting tool. Actually I had one program, I guess, where you can encrypt anything into I think I have deleted that. Okay, let's see. There are any? No. I think. Okay, so also there are programs you can encrypt a simple word into MD5 hash, or now today I'm going to teach you how to decrypt. So decrypt is part of hacking also. This is the most important part of hacking actually. Encrypt you can do from anywhere. Okay, so decrypt, let's start with decrypting. So in order to do that, you need to import a module. So you can see I'm using different modules in different programs. I have imported sockets, I imported random, now I'm importing hashleaf. Okay, so in hashleaf, suppose I'm going to take a variable which will be valued 0. Now I'm going to suppose I need another variable, suppose pass hash equals to, let's say, input. Okay, MD5 hash. So user will input the MD5 hash and it will decrypt. And we need a word list over here. Word list equals to input. Obviously, to do brute force, we need a word list. Okay, so also the word list will be given by the user. So I'm just going to type here input file name and done. So again I'm going to use that try block. This is a good practice. Okay, every time you write a program like this, just put it in the try block. So I need pass file open. So I need to open the word list. Okay, the word list is a file, so I need to read that file. So in Python this is a part of file handling topic. So this is how we can read a file. Okay, so sorry, word list is not the file, word list is the variable. Okay, and this R means read. Okay, and exception, what is the exception? If the file is not there. Okay, so it will throw an exception. Print no file found and no file found, sorry. Okay, so and done. So I'm going to quit from here because there are no files to do the program any further. Okay, if it happens. So now we need a for word in parse file. So in the parse file where we're reading the file, so we're creating a for loop over here, underscore parse file. We need, suppose, an encrypted word. So we are taking just, these are just the variables. You can type anything, you can just write a. Okay, so don't think this is like, so I'm no, this kind of variables, enhance your programs. Okay, so just I'm using the variable, so word dot encode. So you need to encode. UTF-8 is the general and most popular encoding format right now, UTF-8. Okay, so web developers are familiar with these things. And I need one thing, which is digest equals to, now we're going to calling a function from this hashleaf module we have imported already. So hashleaf dot md5. Okay, hashleaf dot md5 and we need, suppose, this thing dot strip Okay, hex digest. Okay, I think we have done over here. So what is this? So I am going to, I need to strip these things and need to put it in hex digest, so it will create all the possible words into hash forms. Okay, so what I'm doing here actually, so in my password list I don't have any hash format password. I have the simple password, so it will turn those password into hash, and then it will match the password with the hash that user already entered. So okay, so if it does match, then we have found a hash. Okay, so now if digest dot strip equals to pass hash. Okay, so I've already told you that if this matches this user input hash, okay, dot strip, then print password found. Okay, okay, and suppose let's print password is, we need to, obviously we need to print what is the password, we need to see in normal form. So just word and the flag equals to 1 and break, because we have found the password, it will break the statement over here. But if flag equals to 0, then password, sorry, print password not in list. Okay, so I think it will work. Let's say just save it over here. Okay, it will ask me for, so this program will run, but it will not run properly until we give this program a word list. So where can I find a word list? Okay, so how to create, let's see how to create a word list with Python. Let's keep this program over here, and we need another file. Let's create a word list program over here. Also you can use a software called Crunch, but right now I'm going to show you how to create your own word list. So again I'm going to import different things. So you can see there are lots of modules you can import string and random, two things. And suppose first of all we need what, input, please enter the minimum length. So when the word list will be created, we need to set that how many character does the words have. Okay, so minimum length, and we need to obviously put the maximum length also. Input, please enter the maximum length over here. And now I'm taking an x, a simple variable right now. Okay, I just cannot came up with a name, so just X. So how many words do you need? Okay, so please enter the max number of passwords you need to generate. Okay, so how many password it will generate. Okay, so also it will be depend upon the user. So taking another variable over here, the alphabets. So I'm going to take numbers over here because okay, I think numbers are better, or you can also put ABCD, anything you want. Okay, so let's say 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, these are the 10 numbers. We need all the combinations from it. Okay, now string equals to just blank, just leave it blank. And now obviously we need to open the password file again, so we need to write. This time we need to write, okay, because we have the blank file, so we need to write every possible password into those files. So now we need open, suppose the word list dot txt, suppose this is the name. We need word list dot txt, and we need to write this time, so instead of R we are going to put W over here. Okay, so now for count in range 0 to X. Okay, so it will start with 0 until the maximum number it reaches. Okay, so within this for loop we are going to put for I in range, sorry, I in random dot sample. Random we have already imported. Okay, so we are going to bring that sample function, which will contain alphabet comma random dot rand int. We are familiar with this rand int. Earlier we have created this with the simple one, rand int, and we need to put minimum comma maximum over here. Okay, so now I think we are done over here. Let's say string plus equals to I. Okay, it will add with the string, and then we need file dot write. So we need to input the string, sorry, we don't need to put the string over here. And for the new line we are using this. I think it will work. Let's see. And again we're going to make the string blank. We need this over here actually, sorry for that. I think string equals to this, and we need to close the file dot close. After writing the file you need to close the file in order to save the file. Okay, and now print done. Let's see if it does work or not. So right now I'm going to save it as word list.py. okay, .py was already there, sorry. Okay, so let's see if it does work or not. So now I'm going to open another cd desktop python word list.py. So enter the minimum length, it says. Okay, so I'm going to enter the minimum length over here, suppose 5. Maximum length would be 5. We don't need a huge word list right now. Max 10,000 it will generate. Let's see. Done. So we can see a wl.txt is created. If you open it, we can see there are lots of 5 digits combinations. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this brute.py. So before that, we need a MD5 hash to crack, right? So also you can find, you can write your own program to create MD5 hash, or you can go for MD5 encryptor on the internet. You will find there are lots of websites out there. So I'm just go to any of the website. I'm going to write something, suppose 1 2 3 4, just say 53241. so it is 53241. So I need hash of this thing. So 53241 looks like this when we encrypt this with the hash, MD5 hash. Okay, so you can see how hard to understand the hash. So we're going to write python brute.py. so we need to put the hash over here, we need to paste it, and the file name is wl.txt. we have already created this. And now, so it says password not in list. So this is brute forcing. In this combination the password is not there, so we need to increase it from, we have put 10,000 numbers, maybe we need to put 20,000 or something like that. Let's try once more. Okay, just minimum length is 5, maximum length is 5. Let's say 40,000 numbers it will generate. Okay, okay, so now I am going to try again. Brute.py, paste the hash over here, the file name is wl.txt. again password is not in list. So as we can see in 40,000, okay, I didn't reload it, I think. Okay, so password is not in this list, it says. So there are lots of numbers over here, so let's, between those 40,000 numbers, let's say we need this 12549. okay, so right now you need to increase those numbers. Okay, to in order to find 54231, you need to increase those numbers to 1 lakh, because you know that there are 10 digits and 5 word the combination is 5 digits for 5 digits. So there can be, how many digits are there, you can also calculate. So I'm not just going to show you, I don't want to create that much huge file right now, for right now. So just let's say we just add 54231 over here, another 54321 also, 12354. so lots of number I have add. Okay, let's save it and let's run the program again. wl.txt. so it says password not in list. Okay, so what was the thing I just forgot, 53241 it was. Okay, 53241 it was. Let's say 53241, so let's put 53241 and let's just save it and let's run another one, wl.txt. okay, so now it has cracked the password. Okay, so now what I have to do, I just wanted to show you that how you can also create your own password list, but you need to increase those numbers generally. I mean, like 4 lakhs or something like that. Okay, then only you can find all the possible combinations. And it because this is a small password, so 40,000 numbers is also a huge number. Okay, so but it took less than 2 seconds, I guess, to find the password over here. Okay, if the list contains the password, it just took less than 2 seconds. So always try to keep that complex passwords for yourself, and just pray that someone is using those weak passwords. Just all. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Hope you have learned a little bit things about this tool. You need to uh, go forward with it. You need to study more to understand these things. How does these things works? There are lots of modules you need to understand, and you need to practice. So keep practicing and stay tuned to our channel for more videos like this. Okay, so thank you.